Hi guys, welcome back to DRAWDY RC. We've had a few comments sent to us. They would like a little more information about what we do to the airplanes and how we make them pretty and about the build and all that. Well, we haven't done but one like that in the past. So I thought I would bring y'all into the hangar today as I'm working on this beautiful P-40B by FMS. This is the 1400 P-40. I think it's P-40D. I don't remember. P-40 anyhow. And I got this thing about a week ago. And of course everyone knows FMS makes a fine airplane. This is a good looking airplane. I got it. It's what I always wanted. I was always hesitant about putting that much money into one. And this is the one with reflex gyro, and it tax and all was about $450. So I was real reluctant about paying that much money for one. I like a $200 airplane, you know, and I haven't had any problems with the $200 airplanes, and this was really a big one for me. But honestly, I really wanted the airplane. My wife liked it out of all the airplanes, and we decided to get it. So today, I'm going to tell you a little bit of thing about this airplane. I'm going to show you a little bit about what we do, what we're using to make them pretty. I haven't done a lot of painting on this airplane. I like the airplane just like it is. So I've done some minor paint work, but nothing, you know, really to catch your eye. I did paint. I left the stacks the way they were. However, I went inside with a little silver and a little white mixed together to make it look like gray exhaust. So I painted the inside of those with a Q-tip. Wet my Q-tip a little bit with the paint, just run them and then twisted it and pulled it out, and it looks great. I like it. Other than that, I don't think I've painted anything on the airplane. Like I said, I like it just like it is, and it's pretty. It stayed pretty close to the original, the way it really was. So I didn't have a whole lot to do to it. However, you know, everyone knows that FMS makes a fine airplane. I like FMS. I've got other FMS. I got a Ranger up there. I've got other FMS that just was great. This one, however, yeah, look, I know everybody knows that there is such thing as a Friday afternoon airplane or a Monday morning airplane, you know, and that holds true. I spent 25 years of my life working on airplanes. In the last 10 years of my life, I was in quality control, so I very well know about the Friday afternoon and the Monday morning. Everybody's in a hurry to get home on Friday afternoon to start their weekend, and sometimes they cut the corners and hurry things out to make a weekly schedule. Well, the Monday morning airplane, you come in and had a bad weekend, and you just don't feel like fooling with the mess. So. And I think I got a Friday afternoon or a Monday morning, because what I found a lot of this on this airplane was just not like FMS. I think their quality control kind of fell by the wayside on this one, because I had a number of things that just I was disappointed in. Number one, the leading edge of the wings had, and I don't know what they used to mold these things, but they had plastic tabs sticking out of the leading edge, like it come out of the mold, and there was little like 6 or 8 little tabs sticking out in front of the leading edge, which was no problem. I trimmed them off. But there again, when you trim them off, you got to touch up paint. I had problems with the wings actually being put together level. Unlike Brian Phillips, I seen he had the same problem. There was a gap between the two leading edge, between the two wing halves, that when you tried to put it together, they didn't mate up flush like they should have, and there was a gap, a big gap between them. That concerned me somewhat. But when you put the connectors on there, the little plastic connectors that tie them together that you put the screws in, when you put the screws in, it tightens up pretty nicely. So that really didn't wind up being a very big deal. I had trouble lining the things up. The screw holes didn't want to match up with the receivers. I've never had that problem before, ever. So I played with that for a long time. And then the coup de grace, it's when the landing gear came open. There's a little spring on the gear door that keeps tension on it, so when the gear goes back in, it pops down. That spring came loose. Now people, when I tell you this is a small spring, it's a small spring. You can't hold it between your fingers. I mean, it's just so tiny. And getting it back in place, I could explain all day, you'd never understand it unless you had one of these things. But putting that spring back in place was just murder. I took 2 days trying to get the landing gear back together. Or trying to get that spring back in there to where it would close that door. I got it in there one time and the door hung down about that far. You know, and it goes so far. So I fooled with that thing, and like I said, unlike FMS, that's just something that you don't normally see. But it was a nightmare. So I finally got it fixed. I had to make me a place to put the spring in. I had to gouge out some foam. Then I had to go back and take a piece of foam and put it back in there and smooth it back up and make it look decent again. It was just terrible. So, you know, needless to say, this did not go together like I wanted it to. It absolutely just disappointed me to no end. Sorry for the delay, guys. I got a 110-pound German Shepherd laying at the front door, and he's trying to eat the UPS man up, or the FedEx man up, so I had to go take care of that. Back to the airplane. And I'd like to make it's not a rant, but it kind of bothers me, and I'm going to put it out there. Maybe some of the designers and the manufacturers are listening. I would just like for them not to put guns and P-dot tubes and stuff like that on the airplane, because when you're building it, you're all over this airplane, you're flipping it over, you're working with it, and eventually you're going to break some of them. And two, when they put them in there, I just broke them off. I just tore them off. They put them in there, and the guns are not straight out of the wing. They're all, everyone, including the P-dot tube, is pointed down. Friday afternoon airplane. Or Monday morning airplane. I mean, there was a lot of this airplane. I hear a lot of people bashing Dynam. And I've got a lot of Dynams in here. And I am not sponsored by anybody. Nobody gives me nothing. What I'm telling you guys is what I experienced as a beginning pilot. And a beginner in the field here of RC planes. I have never had any problems with Dynam. Yeah, I've had some landing gear issues, but you know something? I have fixed all of mine. They fit perfectly. Just takes a little extra work. This was a lot of extra work. It really was. And I'm disappointed in the model for the price range. If it had been a $150 model, I said, well, that's just the way it is. But $450, I expect better quality control than what I got in this one. I'm not down in FMS. I understand quality is a fleeting thing that if you don't stay on top of it, you lose it. I understand that through the years of quality control I was in. But for that kind of money, you should take an extra look before you put it in the box and ship it out. Like I said, mine was so bad off, I just broke them off. I said, I'm not going to have all the guns staring at the ground. You know, it just looks ridiculous. So I tore them all off and painted holes for where the machine gun is with a little, you know, gunpowder residue. That's what I did. Now the P-dot tube, I'm seriously thinking about tearing that thing off too. I mean, you can see it's headed at the ground. But anyhow, what I wanted to do with you guys today is a lot of people's asking about our paint jobs. What do we do with that? How do we get them shiny? I started off with polyurethane, Minwax. In the polyurethane Minwax, most of the modelers are using polyacrylic. I didn't. I couldn't find it, so I just got the regular polyurethane. That was a mistake. The regular polyurethane, if you put it on a white airplane, it'll wind up toning the white down and it'll give it a goldish yellow tint. I was not happy with that, so I quit using it. I went back to my original, which was this. Pledge, Revive It, Floor Gloss. You can get it anywhere. It does great. It doesn't make it as shiny, but it's pretty close as the men wax. The thing about it is, you can repair boo-boos with this stuff, but with men wax, you'd have to sand and sand and sand. So I'm going back to this. This is what I'm going to stay with, and that's what I'm painting this airplane with. And I'm putting 2 coats on. The first coat that you go on there is going to be, it's going to look nice, but it's not going to be like I like it. So I always put 2 coats. When you put 2 coats on, the first time I did this, I forgot what airplane it was on. As I was putting it on, the airplane turned milky white. And I went, oh my God, I have ruined my airplane. I was so disgusted when I got through it, the airplane was milky white. I got up and I went in the other room and just sat down and thought, well, I've screwed that airplane up. And when I come back about 2 hours later, it was beautiful. And basically what it does, this reacts to the first coat that you put on there, and it brings it back to a liquid state, and it turns it white or milky, and it'll look terrible. But as you can see, I was painting this. This is done the same way, and I'm going to probably show you a little bit on. I'm not going to bore you with a long deal on painting this thing and show you how I paint it. I'm just going to paint it and then come back and show you the results. But it turns out really good, and there's another plus to it. It makes the foam more rigid. It's harder to dent it. It's harder to wrinkle it. When you hit it, it makes it harder to poke holes in it. It firms up the foam. Why it does it, I don't know, but it does it. And I like it. I really like it. It makes the airplane really slick, really shiny, really pretty, and firms the foam up. So, if you guys like a really, and I do, I enjoy building these things. I enjoy making them pretty. I enjoy making them look like, you know, like the real deal. So, you know, use this stuff. Unless you get the polyacrylic and you've tried. I haven't tried it, but most of the guys that are using it like it. And their airplanes look great. So, but I do this because it's easy to fix up. Now, there's a couple things I want to tell you when you use this. As you can see, it's really thin. Therefore, it's conducive that it will run really easy. And what I like to do, I like to put it on with a small brush, as you see here. And what I'll do is and when I fill my little cup up with it, I only put it about, oh, I don't know, 5 centimeters deep, because you don't want to salve your whole paintbrush down in, because it's going to bring too much of the floor wax. I like it where it just does coat the tips. Makes it easier to control. And if you get a little, you see it start running down, you can immediately get onto this thing and smooth it right out. I mean, it's just so easy to work with. It makes for a great airplane. And I'm going to show you how I do. I've already got the fuselage of this thing done. I'm going to show you on the wings just how I do it. And basically, you just dip the tip in there. And I like to go around the little indentions, like where the panels are and stuff. I like to go around that first and paint that in. And the reason I like to do that first, it leaves a little residue in there, and I can pick up that residue and go ahead and start putting it, you know, on the regular part of the wing there. This stuff is so easy to work with, and it does such a great job that I enjoy working with it. And it's pretty much idiot free, or I wouldn't use it. But as you can see, that's all I do with it, and I just keep working it. If I see it's trying to run or bunch up or something like that, I go back to it and I just start smoothing it out. It's really, really easy to do. And it'll start almost immediately when you do this. It will start milking up if you've already got a coat on there. And this was doing the same thing. But what it'll do, like I say, as it dries, that milking it will go away. and you'll have the shine there. So I'm going to paint on this thing a little bit, and this is literally how I do it. Nothing special about it. And it'll come up with a real good shine to start off with, and then as it sits there, it'll soften the first coat up, which will come up and be milky. Don't get excited. It's going to do that. And it will come back a nice slick finish like this. I mean, it'll just be beautiful. So hang with me. When I get through, I'll come back and I'll show you the end results and show you the milkiness is gone. Alright guys, I'm back. I have finished painting this thing, just finished it, and I wanted you to see, and right now what I'm doing, I'm going back and I'm picking up the high spots. Like I said, this stuff is like water. So you have to kind of come back in the little places where it's beaded up and thicker. You can now thin it out with the brush, and then it'll flow out really smooth. This side looks pretty good. But what I wanted you to see, and I don't know whether you can or not. Let me see if I can't zoom this thing up. So it is really milky looking. There's all kinds of white in that. I don't know whether you can. I'm probably not going to show up on the camera, but it's just really milky looking. It looks like I've ruined it. But that, you know, that as soon as that dries, that's going away. And like I say, right now, all I'm doing is getting against the light and making sure everything's covered, number one, and number two, make sure there's no drips, drops, runs, or anything like that. And it's looking pretty good. Now, I did this wing first. It's already starting to gloss out and the milkiness is going away. That wing I just finished is really milky. All of this was milky, streaked. I mean, it just looks terrible. It looks like you've ruined it, but you're not. Just let it set, let it dry out. It'll be clear, and it'll really, really look good for you. So I wanted to do this video to let you know, and I'll tell you another plus with this. Another plus, let me get you back out. Another plus is the decals. When you use this stuff on the decals, it seals them in. It puts a little layer, and another plus. Any place you've got like screws through the wings, you know, for your control horns, it makes them harder to break loose or to get loose. I mean, they're easy with a screwdriver, but I mean, just sitting there like with normal vibration, normal wear, that kind of glues them like in place. And when you get through, you'll have to move all your controls, make sure they're not sticking anywhere. Because now with men wax, that's terrible. I had one on one of my airplanes. I didn't think I'd ever break the elevator loose, but I finally got it. But like I said, this is the easiest way to do it. It puts a really good shine on your airplane. It does a great job. It's inexpensive. Takes 2 coats. I like to do it with a small brush. I've seen people do it with like the foam brushes, you know, or not the foam, but the sponge type brushes. I don't like to do that because I like to put them in the creases. I like to apply it in the creases first, and naturally it's going to build up in the creases, and then go back and pick that up and put it, you know, over the rest of it. This airplane is going to look phenomenal. It's really shiny right now, and that wing is already, the milkiness is already going away. It doesn't take long, and when it dries, it'll be absolutely clear, and it'll just be beautiful. So I wanted to do this to let you guys see what we're doing and why we're doing it, why we're using it. It absolutely protects the airplane, makes the airplane look phenomenal. It doesn't make it look so glossy that it's unreal, but it does bring a shine to it. It's not a shine that's like gonna blind you, but it absolutely makes the foam look like metal, like it was a metal airplane or a fabric covered airplane. It looks really great. So give it a try. I think you'll enjoy it. We've got to get this thing in the air. I'm waiting on some adapter. This thing came with IC5, and I don't have any IC5, so I've got to adapt it to the batteries that I got. But guys, I appreciate you joining in and watching the video. I hope this has helped some of you guys. And like I say, if FMS or any other manufacturer, if you're listening to me, don't put the guns on and don't put all that stuff on. This is my opinion, because I've got to work with the airplane to put it together. And 9 times out of 10, you're gonna bump it, you're gonna break it, you're gonna bend it, you're gonna do something to it, and it's just so easy to put a little foam tack in there and stick it in the wing. So I mean, how hard is that? I also don't like for them to come with the canopy glued on. A lot of people do. I don't. I like to get in there and detail it. I like to detail my cockpit where it looks real. So just take what I've said as just a personal opinion. And FMS, I will buy another airplane from you. My Ranger was perfect. It flies phenomenal. So I like the FMS airplanes. They make a great airplane. This one, I think, was a fluke. A lot of stuff got by quality control, if they even have quality control, I don't know, in China. But at any rate, it could have been a better airplane for $450. I'm telling you, I have made an airplane out of it. So I appreciate you guys coming along. Look, please support us. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe or to put a thumbs up if you like the video. It doesn't cost you anything. It does help the channel. And we're not making any money off of any of this stuff. We have started off on this journey, and we're trying to help the people out there that's never done this before. Just what all there is into it, and this is what there are to it. Some of it's frustrating, but most of it's very enjoyable. At any rate, I hope you liked the video. I hope it helped you, and you guys remember us and come back to see us, and we're always glad to see you there. So safe flying, everybody. Great help. God bless you. And we will see you on another video.